Unknown alien takes Kirk and a Gorn, puts them on a planet where they go mano a mano. Arena next.
Hey everyone, welcome to Edith Keeler's Edge of Forever Bar and Grill. Thanks for joining us. I'm Chip Cosell.
I'm John Whitney.
Yeah, the bar is open, so welcome aboard.
Yeah.
John, how you doing?
I'm all right.
All right, good.
Kind of
good.
tired.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't sleep great last night, but it's okay. I was, if you're a Bengal fan, you know my pain.
There you go.
But yeah, everything's good. Everything's good.
Excellent.
Should I show you what I got?
Yeah, what's going to be served at the bar tonight here?
We have Old Scout, straight bourbon whiskey, 49.5 proof. 99 proof, sorry.
Whoa, that's quite a leap. 49 to 99.
Non-chill filter.
Though.
Yeah, it looks good. I'm not sure how good this is because I don't think I.
Was it a nice price point?
It's like $29.
Oh, that's
or something
good.
like
That's good. We're cheap here. We like to keep it on the cheap.
Yeah, it's not bad. Okay.
That looks good. Thanks, John.
So so I picked this up today, and I think it's going to be okay, but we'll try it out. There you go. Here's to Arena. And
Episode 18.
Episode 18. And if you like what you see, stop right now and go ahead and subscribe. Hit that bell so whenever you put up anything new, you'll get a notification. And just remember, I haven't said this for a while, but sometimes people kind of question our motives. And basically, we are fans, not experts. And we are just kind of reminiscing about what we've watched and from an adult perspective.
Right.
Sometimes things catch our fancy and we think it's kind of funny and goofy and weird because, some camp goes on during Star Trek.
Yeah.
But we love the show, and it's from the heart.
Yeah.
It's
good
from
point.
a good place.
Good point, John. Yeah, good point pointing that out.
Good place. And we want to just welcome our new subscribers. I know we've been getting a lot lately. And hopefully you guys will keep on listening and watching.
Yes, thanks. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
So, let's get started, right?
Yeah. It's been a while since we got we plowed through Halloween and the election, and now here we are, and finally getting back into the swing of things.
Yeah.
And, Arena is one of my favorite childhood episodes.
Yeah.
Growing up.
So we open up. We're in the transporter room, and Kirk and McCoy are talking about this guy. They know this person down on the planet, right?
Yeah.
And they're like talking about he's gonna puts
Commodore
on quite
Travers.
Puts on quite a spread or something, and McCoy's like, does he have his own personal chef there?
Like Bones is really looking forward to a nice home cooked meal.
Yeah, and what does Kirk say? He says like something like, he goes,
rank has its privilege.
Yeah, rank has its privilege, exactly.
And and then Bones says, don't I know that? Don't we know that? And then they both turn and walk away.
Yeah, and then there's a communication though from the Planet Service saying, "Hey guys, can't wait to see you guys, and hey, can you bring some of your tactical crew down with you?"
Yeah.
And Spock, he questions that right away.
Spock's like, "Why are you bringing the tactical crew down?" Kind of thing,
Well, it's so far out, maybe he wants a little advice. What's going on? Yeah.
Right.
So he kind of says, "Well, maybe I should." Nah, don't worry about it. Just come on down.
Yeah.
So they get on the transporter.
Yeah. Well, and Spock calls Bones he goes, "You are a sensualist."
That's right.
Yeah, a sensualist. Bet your pointed ears I am. Yeah. Let's go get some food.
Yeah, woohoo! I'm just looking for some unconstituted, whatever he said.
Yeah, unreconstituted food.
Yeah, he's all excited, man. So they go down to the Planet Service, and suddenly they notice that everything's destroyed.
Yeah, and Kirk's gets on the horn and goes, "Hey, red alert! Cestus III has been destroyed."
And then we go to the opening, right?
Yeah, opening credits.
Yeah, the opening credits.
And it comes back and a nice wide shot of all the destruction, and the shot looks so familiar. Maybe I think they might have used that same. I don't know. I'll have to look for it in a future episode, but I seem to remember it in another episode. The one
like the facade.
The whole the blowout marks and everything.
Maybe.
I think I remember it in another future episode, but I don't know. Something having to do with the Constitution of the United States, that one.
That's right.
I can't remember it, but I think that's what it is.
That's right.
I can't remember.
Freedom.
Yeah, that one.
Freedom.
Yeah. So Captain's log. The start. He's like, it's all been destroyed. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. They're walking while he's doing that, right? So they go over and then McCoy's like, over there, and then so they run over there and they see this guy. He's lying there. He's all beat up, and Kirk is like, how is he, Bones? And he's like, he's pretty bad shape. Well, keep him alive because I need to know what happened here.
Yeah. Well, Bones works on him. Spock scans for more survivors, but then scans and sees there are living creatures. They are not warm-blooded.
They're not warm-blooded.
So they're cold-blooded creatures, aliens. There's a whole bunch of them out there.
So the
red has an idea.
Yeah. So the red shirt basically, kind of like it goes ahead and goes, hey, I think I see it. And he like gets shot.
Yeah, it gets disintegrated, and then there's this huge explosion. Right?
Yeah. Then they start like getting all these explosions around, like they're under attack by the Gorn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then they're kind of under attack, and he's like, you got to get out of here. He hails the Enterprise.
Yeah, he starts talking to Sulu. Yeah.
And he's like, we need to be beamed up right away. And he's like, oh, we can't because we put the shields up.
Yeah, they're under attack up there.
Yeah.
He's like, take care of the ship no matter what.
Right. Take care of the ship no matter what.
Sulu fires the phasers. It's almost like, this is the first time they mentioned phaser. They show phasers like this. Remember before they had
they used the phasers, right?
Yeah, and then they used photon torpedoes for the first time.
Right.
A little bit later, just a little bit later, not much.
Yeah.
They move for cover.
They move for cover.
Yeah. They carry the guy and they carry him off to one of the background sets. And they get behind some building structure, and that's where they hunker down.
Yeah, and then Kirk is like, there's got to be a what is it?
It's armory, right?
Yeah.
He's like, so hey, where's the armory? Do you remember it? And Spock's like, about 100 yards that way.
Right.
So Kirk says he's going to go for it,
Yeah, so Kirk runs. He does a serpentine little thing, and he does. And then you see like they cut to a shot of a stuntman, and the stuntman there's an explosion. The stuntman
he dives and gets on and manages to get through to Sulu. He says, fire photon torpedoes, you know.
So it's the first time we've seen photon torpedoes.
Yes, exactly. That's right. And interesting enough, but this is like William Shatner wrote about filming this sequence where all the explosions are going off, and those explosions were so close to them that it gave him and Leonard Nimoy, it gave him tinnitus.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, because they were so close, and they put too much. He complained that they put too much charge in.
Yeah.
Those explosions when they're running around like maniacs, because they both do their run. They both get a moment where they get to run and dive. And even Spock, Spock I gotta tell the captain, and he runs with the tricorder and gets blown up. And
those things are usually like these canisters that they put like dirt and some kind of an accelerant, and then like dirt and probably usually typically styrofoam or rubber, lightweight kind of chunks. Yeah. So when it explodes,
like cork,
yeah,
cork stuff,
all this junk just kind of flies out. So
it looks cool.
Yeah,
and as he gets to be close to the captain in this ditch that's blown out, Spock is on his tricorder talking to Kirk, and it starts to overload, and then he whips his tricorder and it blows up. And it's like, fuck! Oh my god!
That's right.
I was like, he goes, ingenious. They put a loop on my tricorder, causing it to explode.
Right.
Spock was like freaking out about it. It's kind of cool about it.
He's very impressed by that, by the way. I think.
Yeah.
Very impressed by that. Yeah.
Kirk brings over this tube launcher thing. It's kind of cool looking.
Yeah, and then one of the other guys shows up, and they're all together.
Yeah, he calls for Taurus or whatever his name is, and the guy comes over. Taurus is dead. They got him. Yeah. I'm Smith or whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter because the red shirts are wasted. They're blown away.
And Kirk is like, okay, what's his name? You tell me, where do you think they are?
Yeah.
And he goes, well, if I was them, I would actually be up in those hills over there. Declination, blah, 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 whatever he says.
Yeah, azimuth forces here.
Yeah, and then so he aims the device, and he's got these blue balls.
Yeah. Blue balls, a whole case of blue balls.
Which gives you the question. No, just Did they bang? But so he's got these blue balls that are like these photon grenades.
Yeah, photon grenades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they aim the photon grenade, and he drops it in, and they kind of run for cover, and then it explodes.
It launches and it goes, and just like a photon torpedo.
Yeah, it sounds like a photon torpedo explosion. Or something.
That's cool. But that did the trick. That took care of him.
Right, and then he calls up to does Sulu call down to him, or does he call up to Sulu?
They left.
Yeah,
and they transported. They have a transporter signal. They all beamed aboard, and then he's like, "Okay, we can." He hits some buttons that make no noise.
Yeah,
and
so they beam them up.
Yeah,
now
they beam them up.
the coast is clear.
Yeah, and they're in sick bay, and then they get the skinny from the guy. They're questioning the victim that survived. Yeah,
and he's like, well, we got a signal from them, and of course it's not a big deal. People come and use our facilities all the time, but then they started attacking us, and they got they destroyed all of our phaser weapons in the first salvo, and then we tried to reason with them and told them that there was women and children here, but they wouldn't listen.
Why?
They wouldn't listen. Settle down now.
Yeah.
Okay. He says he had questions about. We got two signals, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, that's right. He said we got two signals. One was like telling us to get there, and the other was making sure that our tactical team beamed down.
Yeah, and the guy was like going, listen, they were there a day before you even showed up.
Yeah.
So and then we cut to the room where he says,
it was a trap.
Right.
It was a trap. They're invading us.
Yeah, so they're having this discussion, and
an ethical discussion.
Yeah,
Spock and
Spock
Kirk
as well. If that's so, then you cannot allow that alien vessel to reach home or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. He says that to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kirk orders they go to warp 6 because they're at warp 5, and then Kirk's like, "All right, we're gonna go get them. Let's go. Stand by." He orders all the armory to get ready.
This is not a drill.
Yeah.
This is not a drill.
Yeah. And it cuts to commercial and comes back at captain's log, and it's the bridge.
Yeah.
It cuts back to the bridge, and Captain Kirk's walking around giving orders. Lock have all scanners locked.
Yeah.
Locked into the computer. I want this up on record, because he's going to destroy these guys. And Spock is still kind of like,
yeah, he walks
doesn't
over
really like
to him
that.
and he's like going, so is your intention to destroy that vessel?
Yeah.
And he's like, what? He's like, damn right I am.
Yeah.
And he kind of, I think what Spock wants to do, Spock says, destroying that vessel will not bring the people on that planet back.
Right. He says.
So basically he's trying to figure out, he'd like to basically try to reason with them, and talk to them, not destroy them. Mm-hmm. I think, anyway.
Yeah, and then Sulu's like, hey, they went to warp factor 6, go to warp factor 7. So he's basically trying to catch up to them. He's telling them, and they're all worried because the engines, can they take it?
Yeah, when Kirk looks at Spock, Kirk says, what's wrong, Spock? And Spock looks at him and says, well, warp 7 a long time is very dangerous.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and then Kirk says something like, okay, noted, or something like that,
Yeah.
Sulu says, hey, they must know that we're following them because they've increased their speed to warp 7, and that's when Kirk says,
goes, warp factor 8, and then it was, whoa.
Yeah, he took pause. Sulu took pause, and then he went, yes, sir.
Yeah, and it cuts to like an exterior shot, so time has gone by, so they've been pursuing for a while, and it cuts back to the bridge, and one of the new navigator guy, who's the guest star navigator, is like, yes, it's we've got a system.
Going.
We're coming up on a system over here, but they're going right by it. The Gorn are going by it. They don't know they're called the Gorn yet. They're going right by it, and Uhura's like, Captain, we're being scanned by the Gorn. He's like, or the enemy? No, it's
from that
solar system that we're passing. He's like, that's too far out. There's no way they could scan. There's nothing hostile.
Nothing hostile.
So at
that point, is that when the Gorn ship starts slowing down?
Yeah, Sulu gives like this. Oh, Captain, they're slowing down. Warp factor 6, 5, 4, 3, sublight.
Yeah,
They've dead stop, Captain.
And then
So he said, "We've got him."
Yeah,
Kirk's like, "We've got him."
Yeah, right.
So he's like telling everybody, "Get ready to go
Juice
to
up
battle."
all your stuff and let's go.
Yeah. He's like getting ready to
He wants to go
wholeheartedly
in guns a-blazing.
attack them.
Yeah, he wants to go in guns a-blazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he does. You know he does, man.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
So they get close, right? And suddenly there's this like sudden stop.
Yeah, so they and all the inertial dampeners, no matter how good they are, they couldn't stop them from all lurching forward.
Yeah, they're all like like that.
Because they got totally went from warp 8 to
nothing.
dead stop,
Very much, and then they're stopped, and they're basically nose to nose with the Gorn ship. Which you really can't see what the Gorn ship looks like.
Yeah, you can't. It's at a distance.
It looks like a little kind of a ball with like these little things.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Harcourt Fenton Mudd's ship in Mudd's Women. But so they're all like, okay, what's going on? I don't understand what happened. And everybody's like, we lost power here, we lost power there, no damage, nobody's hurt, but life support's fine and everything else fine, except they just don't have energy for the
right. They don't know what's
for
happening.
weapons.
Then suddenly they see this kind of like shimmery light on the screen.
The view screen, yeah.
The view screen, and we hear a voice, and it says, "We are the what? We are
the Metrons."
That's right. We are the Metrons. We have stopped your ship, but because you are pursuing a ship that you want to destroy or whatever, and we can't have that happen or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. We are going to intervene, so we can tell that you are both hostile people or whatever, something like that.
Exactly. We're going to put you down on this planet.
Yeah, I'm going to put your captain, Kirk. You will go down to the planet with the captain of the Gorn ship. And this is the first time they use Gorn.
And duke it out. Mano a mano.
Yes.
And
picture the ingenuity against ingenuity.
there's brute strength against brute strength.
Yeah.
And so he goes, well, I don't think that's going to happen. It is done. And then all of a sudden he disappears.
Yeah.
And Uhura screams.
Yeah, so, it's like a transporter. But really fast.
But the thing about it is she screams like the top of her, like she saw somebody get shot.
Yeah. Like, oh my God.
But when he disappeared from the bridge in the last episode,
nobody screamed.
Nobody screamed. Nobody screamed. That's okay. So we go down and we're on the planet surface, and the Gorn. And we cut to a close up on the Gorn.
Yes.
Like, and then he kind of turns to the camera, and then we see Kirk kind of reacting to it, and then we go to commercial.
He blinks.
That's right. He does blink.
He blinks. They put in blinking, which is cool.
Yeah.
And I thought that was it for the blinking, but when we rewatched it tonight, we saw him blink a couple more times.
So we come in a commercial. We're down on the surface of the planet, and they're both facing each other, kind of nose to nose, not nose to nose, but probably about 20 feet away from each other.
Yeah, and there's a captain's log, and it's like I can't help but to be disgusted with this lizard creature. I don't like lizards. He's basically telling us about how he hates lizards, but he has to try to remind himself that this is a captain of a civilization that went into space, and he's trying to remind himself that this is a captain, not a creature.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we forgot to say that they gave him these like recording devices.
Oh, right.
They kind of look like lightsabers.
Yeah, sort of.
And so they're supposed to basically document what's happening, so people will learn. People will learn from this experience.
Yeah.
And so the Gorn basically picks up goes off to pick up a stick, and Kirk goes over to a tree and breaks
trying to break
branch.
off another stick. Yeah.
And the Gorn walks up to him really super slow.
Yeah.
And then Kirk looks at the size of his stick, and he looks at his stick, Kirk's stick, and he's like tosses it away because his stick was pretty puny.
Pretty huge.
Compared to,
the other guy's stick was huge.
Yeah,
the lizard stick was huge.
Yeah.
And he starts trying to beat Kirk with it, and Kirk's dodging him, and the stick breaks on the tree.
And then he like gets hand-to-hand combat, and the Gorn is like super slow. It's like slow motion. And then so he like gives him a punch in the gut like usual, the double fisted to the gut, and then he does like a judo chop right to the neck. Nothing works.
Yeah, and he's finally the Gorn's going in to bite off his face or make out with him or something, and he does this. He boxes his ears.
Yeah.
And
then he gets away.
That did it. He was able to get away. So how much of that slow motion Gorn stuff is story written, and how much is the actor in a bulky, awkward costume?
It may have been that.
Do you know what I
too.
mean?
Yeah, it might have been like try to fight. Okay, well.
Well, damn, he can't move
it's
very
not
well.
working so good.
I know. Let's pretend like you can't move very well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's a full body thing, man.
It's a full body thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Full body suit and everything.
Yeah,
it's not
dude.
computer animated.
And his calves, he definitely never missed leg day. His calves are gigantic.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Oh,
the Gorn.
the Gorn. So, so Kirk runs away.
And he picks up a large rock.
Right.
And he whips it at him because he's up a little bit. He went up a little bit high. Whips this huge, and it's a really very convincing heavy rock.
It's a rock. Yeah.
And it just bounces right off the Gorn's chest. And then, in a feat of strength, the Gorn picks up a giant boulder and whips it at Kirk. And Kirk's like, "Whoa!"
And Kirk's like, "Whoa!"
And it like, boom, boom. And he's like out of there. He books
Yeah.
to get away. Then it cuts back to the bridge. Spock and Scotty discuss. They're trying to problem solve. And they're going back and forth. Did you try this, Scotty?
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, "Yes, Mr. Spock. I tried that, Mr. Spock."
Yeah.
And it cuts back to the planet with Kirk, and he's using the recorder for the first time. And he's making his journal entry, and we get cut to the Gorn, and then you realize, well, the Gorn can hear what Kirk is saying, but Kirk doesn't know that.
Yeah,
So
he's like busting on his ass, basically saying the Gorn is very slow and not
Yeah.
very agile. And the Gorn is listening to this, probably fuming, getting pissed off.
Yeah, it's
like
like
he just got smacked. Got some smack from Kirk about being slow and shit.
Yeah.
And he did blink in that scene.
Oh, cool. All right,
I think he
notice
blinked
that.
while I was listening.
Maybe
to
I was blinking when I was watching it, and I missed the
That's
blinks
possible.
because those are cool blinks. I like
good
them.
blinks.
Well, then it cuts to the bridge, and Dr. McCoy and Spock are having some banter, and McCoy's like, "What are we gonna do? What are you gonna do about this?"
Yeah, he's like, we're waiting.
Yes, we're going to wait, Doctor.
That's right.
Yes, we're going to wait because there's 1 cubic parsec of space out there. You know, there's 1,000 cubic parsecs of space.
All this logic.
Yeah, yeah,
Where is he?
yeah, exactly.
You know, and then he just says it's such a big. We don't know.
Yeah.
He doesn't know. We're just gonna
Right.
stay here and wait and see what happens.
That's all you can do, really. And it cuts back to the planet, and Kirk is running away still, and he finds a group of bamboo plants. You know, he's kind of looking at
So he
this.
looks at him. He like throws him up.
He's like,
"Ugh,
trying to
be
figure out
sure
what
this."
can I use this piece of crap. He throws it aside.
Throws it away. Gets all frustrated. So he's basically kind of looking around and moving around.
The Gorn's setting a trap for him. You could tell he's like hooking up some rope / vine or whatever tied to some boulders.
And he's like doing this. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, and then Kirk like
he's like laughing because he thinks it's gonna work.
Yeah. And then Kirk is like, he finds like these diamonds like encrusted into the side of this cliff. He's like, diamonds, hardest substance known to man in the universe. You gotta trade them all for a good hand phaser.
Right, exactly. Right.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
He goes, the Metron said there'd be weapons. I don't see any weapons anywhere. And he starts and runs away. He sees a rock on top of a cliff's face that's below the Gorn.
Right, he finds the Gorn.
Yeah,
right?
he gets to the, that's right, yeah.
He sneaks up on the Gorn and he kind of sees him from over the top, and he's rigging this. He's
He's
making,
sharpening, that stabby thing.
Yeah, he's making like, you know how you can take rock and then old arrows were made of this. You just kind of click it off.
Yeah.
So he's kind of making this like weapon. Out of some kind of a glass.
Yeah, it's like a really long spear thing. It has a nice sharp pointy end.
So then Kirk looks up and he sees that weird boulder at the top of this little peak area.
Yeah. So he's gonna climb up there and push that boulder down on him.
Mm-hmm. And he gets up there and he actually gets a hold of it, moves the styrofoam rock just a little bit, and then kind of pushes it, and then finally goes over the top.
Yeah.
And the Gorn's like, whoa!
Yeah. And it's a nice long shot of the boulder going down.
I know,
that was cool.
But he's so slow he couldn't get out of the way.
Right. And then bam! I guess he through some clever editing, the boulder crushes him, and then Kirk takes his time getting down. They don't cut like, you know what I mean? They show him most climbing down a lot. You know, they don't do a lot of editing to speed up the time of him getting down.
A lot of the editing though is the editing when he's going down the hill, his shoulders are faced one way, and then they cut to the close, and he stops in that wider shot, and then they cut to a medium shot, and his body's in the opposite position to the camera, and he stops again. So he did like a double stop.
Yeah. And then he stops and he sees the Gorn start to move, you know.
Yeah.
But not right away. He's still laying there, but then he just kind of moves a little bit. And then he's like, oh shit, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Right? And then
So he runs away, but he gets caught up in the Gorn's trap.
right. And then the Gorn goes over to kill him.
Right.
And then he's chopping off Kirk's head, and his blood's squirting everywhere. And then it cuts to a commercial. No, they didn't do that.
But the Gorn is definitely up on him, and then they cut to commercial.
Yeah, then it cuts to commercial.
And then we're back, and we're back on the surface.
Yep.
And the Gorn is about to try to stab him.
Yeah, he goes to like, he does something. He moves the rock so he can get to him. And that rock is huge, the boulder.
I know, he like moves
And
out.
and I said when it happened, oh my God, his hips just got crushed.
I know.
You know, because it looks like it could just bust up his hips. He does limp for the rest of the show, so that is cool. So you know something happened to his leg. Yeah.
So the Gorn pulls it off, and then it
He goes
frees
to, like,
Kirk, and Kirk like Jimmy's, basically shimmies away, and Gorn like falls down on the ground.
Yeah, like, he tried to kill him,
And
but he didn't get
limps
to.
away.
Yeah, then it cuts back to the bridge, and Spock is trying to call the Metrons. You know, like, Spock to the Metrons, come in, please. You know, but he can't get a hold of them. He's
I would like to have a consult, please.
Yes. Spock is trying everything, man.
Hello, Metrons.
Metrons.
I would like to speak to you, please. Hold, please. No.
They're not having it.
Yeah,
the
they don't-
Metrons are not having it. Metrons, Metrons,
They don't
morons.
get back to him for a while. They must have been, going to the
Yeah,
bathroom.
I wrote Metrons on my computer, but it autocorrect to morons.
We
I
are
didn't
the
notice.
morons.
We are the morons for planet Morganian. Anyway, then it cuts back to the planet. Kirk is making his last entry about the Gorn, and the Gorn hears him. And is this where he talks to the Gorn? Wait, no.
No, he doesn't talk to the Gorn. He basically.
Gorn is still hearing him. He's
like,
talking
"What
about.
are these
He's talking about sulfur. He goes, "That's something very old." He remembers something.
Yeah, he doesn't exactly know what sulfur is good for. He's like,
this is it. That's
something's
right.
ringing a bell, but he hasn't quite put it together yet.
Right, he's like, all these minerals is a meteorological dream. Because modern technology, they don't need gunpowder anymore.
Yeah, so it's something very old.
Yes, yes.
So we're back on the bridge.
The doctor is like in disbelief that this is all happening. And the Metrons come on and says, your captain is
Finally, yeah,
looting.
exactly.
Your captain is losing. You should make proper arrangements. He's going to be killed any minute, basically.
And then McCoy's like, for the love of God, man.
Yes, can appeal to your humanity.
Stop this.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they say, well, obviously you care about this, about your captain very much. I tell you what we'll do. We will allow you to see and hear everything that's happening on the planet.
Yes, because, he's about to die, so they want them to see it.
Yeah, so they all of a sudden we see what's going on down on the planet.
Yeah, yeah, and Spock immediately notices the sulfur, and he was like, oh, interesting.
Not the sulfur, the saltpeter.
Yeah, the potassium nitrate.
Yeah, he's like,
yeah, the potassium nitrate.
potassium nitrate.
And then the Gorn calls Kirk on his translator. He was like, I have heard everything you said.
Which I think doing the voice of the Gorn
Yeah.
is the actor that played the big robot with what little girls are made of. And also, I can't remember his name, but he was also Lurch from the original Addams Family.
Yeah, yeah. It sounds like that, like him putting on a voice.
I think it is him. It sounds like him a couple times where I'm going, I recognize that voice.
Yeah, yeah. I can't remember. I should know his name. We've looked it up.
We've talked about him before, but sorry, guys. We don't remember everything. Like I said, we're fans, not experts.
Yeah.
Fans, not experts. All right, so basically he's like going, very good, because Kirk has put it together.
Yeah, Kirk's now starting to figure out what chemicals he has available to make gunpowder, while the Gorn is saying stuff like, you invaded us, you were the invaders.
Yeah.
We only were defending ourselves. Now stay still and I'll be merciful. Let's get this over with.
Egg, I'll be merciful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Kirk finds a really big tube, I guess.
A bamboo tube.
With a kind of a rope thing, and then Spock
and while he's putting that together, Bones is like, could that be true? Could they think that we were invaders? But the Commodore had such great meals. What the hell?
That's right.
So Spock's like, oh, yes, possibly, quite possibly, Doctor. And then Kirk is like getting the bamboo cannon thing ready. He's basically building a cannon, as we all know.
Spock is like, oh, yes.
Yes, Doctor. He has reasoned it out.
Right, reasoned it
Yes.
out, yes.
Yes.
And he finds some stuff. He goes, oh, the diamonds would be a very lethal projectile.
Yeah.
And what is McCoy's like going, using what?
Using what? Like
Yeah.
using what as a projectile? Yeah. He's like, yeah.
He's like, dude, think of your basic chemistry, doctor. Yeah.
He's making gunpowder.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
So he is gathering all this stuff down on the surface, and
Yeah, and he's limping away. He's trying to
Yeah.
get away from the Gorn while the Gorn is in
Right.
hot, slow pursuit.
right. He's like
Yeah.
a weird dream that you have. You know, where there's this slow motion. You can run as fast as you can, but the slowest thing is still getting.
Yeah, he's still catching up to you.
So he kind of gets in this place. He has everything. He dumps it out on this rock.
Yeah, he starts smashing.
He's got the
stuff
coal. He
together.
starts smashing the coal. He's
Yeah.
making this powder substance and mixing it all together.
Yeah, yeah.
And McCoy's like going, "Do you think he can do it?" And he's like, "If he has enough time, doctor." So the Gorn is getting closer and closer, and he's like mixing it together. He puts it in the tube, and then he tries
Positioning the tube,
Yeah.
and he rips off a piece of fabric from his
Right.
pants, and he's trying to like light the thing with sparks.
sparks from the thing. And I'm thinking, if that's the stuff as mixture is right there, isn't it gunpowder? Wouldn't it?
Isn't that going to go?
I know.
The whole thing would just like that.
So he does get something burning on
Yeah.
his
There's a nice
pants.
close-up of that too. Of that, like they must have shot a second unit for that.
Something. And so the Gorn is like now within like 20 feet, and he gets closer and closer, and he
Yeah.
pulls the thing over, and then the Gorn gets closer and closer, and he like takes the little rag and he sticks it on there, and kaboom!
Yeah.
And he hits the Gorn, and then we cut to the shot, and the tube is like got
blown
splintered out.
Yeah, it's like what happened to his hands?
Exactly,
man? His
man.
hands are right there.
I don't know. Maybe
Nothing.
he had his hands up high to
Yeah.
keep it away from the explosion.
Yeah, man.
But yeah,
A lesson we should all learn is youth, not to
right.
mess with gunpowder.
That's
Man.
right. And the Gorn is on the ground, and
Yeah.
you basically got shit sticking out of him. The diamonds you can see in the red blood.
Yeah, there's red blood on the green Gorn. Yeah, which I thought was kind of cool.
What does Kirk do next?
He takes the thing, he's gonna stab him with that
Right.
spiky thing, and he pulls it out. And you can see, I never noticed this before, there's red blood on the very tip.
That's
He
right.
must have got it into his throat a little
Right.
bit.
A little
you
bit.
know? Just a little bit, and then decided not to do it. He goes, "No, I'm not gonna kill him. Do you hear me? I'm not gonna kill the Gorn." Throws it away.
For your
What do you mean?
entertainment.
Yeah, I'm not gonna mess with entertainment, this and that. You know, he's like, "Fuck that." You know, maybe they thought we invaded them. You know?
That's right. And
so,
so
yeah.
he looks over, and the Gorn disappears.
Yeah.
And then he's like, where'd the Gorn go?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, this like dude appears on top of a rock with all
Yeah.
he's all shiny and stuff. He looks
Shimmery, wearing a robe like from Roman times or something.
like, yeah,
right?
he looks. It's kind of weird. He does look like kind of a Roman cherub.
I didn't think he looked like a little boy or something. Maybe the angle of the camera made it not look that way. But to Kirk's line is, "You seem like a boy" or something like that. He goes,
Something like that.
"I am thousands of years old, Captain.
1,500 of
Thank
years
you.
old."
I'm glad you think I look that way," or whatever. You know, just
I
compliment.
work very hard with my skin regiment. But so
Yeah.
basically, he says, you showed us something, that you
Yes.
have compassion, and you.
Which is an advanced trait we did not think you had.
Yeah. So we will spare you.
He goes, "What happened to the Gorn?" He goes, "I put him back on his ship. If you would like, I can destroy him right now." He goes, No, that won't be necessary.
Did he
Perhaps,
say that?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
He goes, "Perhaps we can talk about it. You know,
Yeah.
maybe we'll talk." So it's that
very
kind
good
of thing.
trait.
Yeah, and then it cuts to the bridge, and boom, Kirk appears, and I just heard I scream again. Or,
No, she just goes, "Oh my God!"
yeah, okay. So he's back on the bridge, and everybody's like, "Whoa, what happened?" And then Sulu's like, "Captain, I don't understand. Cassiopeia is over here, and Sirius is over there," and he's naming these constellations. Like,
Yeah.
basically, they could have cut that out and said, "Captain, we've moved 550,000 parsecs from where we were, or are, or what? I don't know."
She, don't question it, Sulu.
Yeah, I was all right. And then Spock goes, "Hey, what happened? The screen went dead. We didn't
Yeah.
get to see."
He goes, "Well, it turns out we're a very promising species,
Yes.
and maybe we'll meet them again in 1,000 years." And then he says, "Okay, Sulu, back to Cestus.
Cestus III.
Cestus 3, warp factor 1. And he's like, warp factor 1/3. All right, so we liked it.
One of my favorite ones, yeah.
Yeah. The next episode is today's yesterday.
Tomorrow is yesterday.
Yeah, that's right. Tomorrow
is yesterday.
That's right. The one about where they go back in time to Earth in the 1960s and they take on this like
Is it an
F-104
accident that they go back in time?
Yeah, they get slingshot by some sun gravitational thing, and then they ended up on Earth in 1967 or something like that. And so that's our next episode.
Yeah.
If you
yesterday.
if you like what you saw, for the last 40 minutes or so, or 30 minutes or whatever it was, I'll cut it down.
We'll find out how he cuts it.
I don't know how long usually. But please subscribe.
He cuts out a lot of jewels,
Sometimes I cut for time.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Yeah, please. Like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Here's my T-shirt.
Yeah.
Edith Keeler's editor for Mark Brown. Coming soon.
We'll figure that
availability for you, the customer,
That's
to buy
right.
some.
So
We got to open a store.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. Until then, until next time, the bar is closed.